What's up, guys? Today we have a YouTube video talking about Torterra EX, one of the cool new cards coming out in our Temporal Forces expansion. Torterra EX is a Pokemon card that does 30 times the number of grass Pokemon in play, which means you cap out at 180 damage on a stage 2 Pokemon that has 340 HP. Now, the upside to this card is you have cards like Turtwig and Grotle. I think Grotle can search for any grass type Pokemon in your deck and put it into your hand. So Grotle can search for the whole engine by itself. So if you get 2 Grotles up by turn 2, you're basically searching for the entire engine. Torterra swings for a lot of damage. You can play cards that heal it, like Cheryl, and for a single grass energy, you can keep chaining 180 HP attacks. And we're going to be watching the Japanese YouTube channel play the deck in a show match of sorts. And so we're going to see kind of how it all shakes down here. Let's go ahead and put this into playback speed 2. There's going to be a deck list at the end of the video. Hopefully there usually always is. So we can talk about it there. I think the show matches are geared to make Torterra, or like the new deck or whatever, win. But we can still get a good representation of what's going on. So if you guys enjoy this kind of content while I'm doing this intro, please like and subscribe. It would help out a ton. We see a Turtwig on the left and a Bidoof on the right. Interesting to note that there is no Turtwigs that have less than 80 HP. So Buddy Poffin is not a card that can actually find Turtwigs. So that's the one part of this deck and this engine that makes it a little bit more difficult to actually get the ball rolling, because you can't actually find your Turtwigs as easily as possible. You need Ultra Balls and Nest Balls now that VIP Pass is rotated. We see on the right it is an Arceus deck. So we're going to see an Arceus attachment with a DT on turn 1. So there's the Nest Ball, second Turtwig hitting the board. Artisan as well. Oh yeah, Artisan is a great way to find your Turtwigs as well. So 3 Turtwigs into play on turn 1 with an Arven. Getting Buddy Poffin and TM Evo. I guess we'll see what the Buddy Poffin is going to get. It's going to be 2 Cottonies, or Cottony and Bidoof. We're going to see the Turtwig come through with the TM Evo. I presume it's just going to be double Grotle. Also, Grotle and Bibarel, because I guess we didn't play like a ton of cards. I don't know. That seemed like a pretty insane turn 1 off the rip just for a setup deck. There's a Starbirth. We're going to see a Relicanth, which lets you use the attacks of previous Pokemon, I believe, in play. Curious to see what partner we have with the Arceus here that we're going to be using previous attacks. Bibarel, Team League HQ, make it so basic Pokemon can't attack nearly as easily. There's the V-Star after using all of our existing cards. The switch comes through, and just probably a clean knockout onto this Turtwig while we set up our board. Second card that was grabbed wasn't really used, so now we have 2 things set up onto the board. Turtwig going through, Grotle hitting the active, second Grotle in the hand, attach active and an Iono, just draw 6. We're going to use Grotle's ability to grab a grass type Pokemon, put it into our hand. There's a Turtwig. Second Grotle, using the ability again. Toedscool. Toedscool EX looks like the partner of choice. Toedscool EX has, I think it's, I don't know the exact ability name, but what the ability does is it can't be, the Pokemon that have grass energy attached can't be affected by effects of attacks. So things like Frenzied Gouging, Sableye Lost Mine, Giratina's Star Requiem, things of that nature. And there is a Torterra hitting the board. 150 damage is quite a bit of damage to swing into this Arceus that, well, I mean, there is a Max Belt on the bench. Research, discarding a lot of supporter cards. We're going to see a second Arceus. There's Tina. I guess, yeah, being able to use Shred is actually pretty useful with Relicanth, so you don't have to actually, like, forsake evolving against Stall or something of that nature. I think that's actually a pretty cool tech card to be included. There's a Giratina being set up. We're going to go ahead and see another Grotle ability getting Grotle. Grotle ability getting another Pokemon. Probably here. The chain just keeps going. I like this engine quite a bit. There's the Cottony. It gives, I believe, all of your... Actually, I don't know what the Cottony does. Let's look up the Cottony. I think it's a new card. Cottony TCG. I'm gonna be if I don't know what a card does, I'm gonna go ahead and look it up with you guys because it makes sense. Not Cottony. What's its evolution? Whimsicott. Yeah, I think it's Wild Force anyway, right? So we gotta go find it in Whimsicott. Sorry guys, just want to make sure I know what the card does. Whimsicott says when you play this card from your hand, you may heal all damage from your active grass. If you heal any damage, discard all energy. So basically, it's just a max potion if you do evolve it. We're going to see an Iono. So basically, it's a supporter card. It's a Pokemon that acts as a supporter effect, which is really useful. And then we get the attack off again with Torterra doing the knockout, setting up the board. We're going to see Giratina being set up once again. If the max belt was on Giratina, I don't think it changes anything just because, I don't know, we're swinging for 330 and 330 is not enough. We're 10 short. One of the few Pokemon in the format that has 340. Grottle getting another Grottle. Just thinning the deck, I guess. And then we get Torterra. So we're going to see Professor Turo's Experiment picking up the Torterra, which is honestly really annoying to deal with at this point in the game. Another Turtwig hitting the board. Torterra in the active. Attach for turn and 150. Like, think about all the work you're doing to try to knock this guy out. Obviously, this deck is probably prone to early game setup issues, but like if you get to this point in the game, I feel like there's not a ton of decks that aren't fire type that can actually deal with this. And if you guys didn't realize, Charizard isn't a fire type anymore. Like, Charizard is fully a dark type deck that's weak to grass. So Torterra is also going to one-shot it if you get 5 Pokemon into play, or 6 Pokemon into play. So we're going to go ahead and now see the Torterra. Another Grottle. The Grottle's back, attached to the Grottle. Boss's orders up the Arceus back. No Mercy here. We're just going to take the 2 prize cards here. It looks like. And the first Torterra might be going down, ladies and gentlemen. But the energy is being wiped from the board slowly. So as an Arceus deck, you are a little bit concerned now because you're losing energies pretty rapidly. I don't know if I would have Ultra Balled away that DTE. I think there's like merit to just keeping it and 280 with that this turn. But it looks like we're opting to copy Shred with the Relicanth, which I also like as a play. And then we're going to go ahead and draw Nest Ball coming through, failing it. Aroma, Tails. We can search for like everything in our deck, which is kind of crazy with just the Grottles, except for this like 1/1 barrel line, which seems like is in the deck. Another Torterra hitting the board. This Torterra does, I think, 50x the number of abilities, I think, in play, or maybe just Pokemon in play. There's the Toad Scroll hitting the board as well. Another Bidoof with TM Evo just burning cards. Torterra hitting the board. Super Odd back. Presumably some energies. Barrel 2 cards. We've had like our whole hand this whole time. Attach for turn. Okay, I think it's 50 times the number of your bench. So we're going to go ahead and swing for exactly 280 damage. And I believe that ends the game. So there are multiple Torterras. There's no way to accelerate grass in this format. Or I think like not a great way, but I really like that Whimsicott card. That Whimsicott card is really cool because you can just pick it up with your Grottles as you're like setting up your board. Like, sure, the early game setup of finding the Turtwigs is the hardest part about this deck, but I think once that ball gets rolling and that like kind of gets established, you're kind of on a pattern to success. So let's take a look at the deck list for Torterra. See if you guys want to try it out yourself. I think this is a fun deck for sure. There seems to be a lot of fun decks coming up in the next format. A lot of 1/1 lines here. I do like the 4/4 Torterra Grottle line, I think, here. Makes a lot of sense to me. Hero's Cape, tons of HP, but I don't know if you need Hero's Cape because you're already at 340 HP Behemoth. Like, maybe you want to play something like Max Belt to get from 150 to 200 to knock out, I don't know if that number actually makes sense, but 180 to 230 makes sense, I think, in my mind. 150 or 120 to 170 makes sense against Zard, so you can bench like 2 barrels if you need to. There's no Radiant in this deck either, so I don't know if you would want a Radiant Pokemon of some sort. Serena maybe, but I don't know if you want to get stuck in the active. There's probably some form of Radiant Pokemon you can play that's actually good in this deck. One Candy is a little bit cheeky. I don't know if I would play One Candy. I think I would just probably cut it for another like a second Cottony maybe. Like play like a heavier Cottony line, Whimsicott line seems pretty good compared to like Toad Scroll. I guess Toad Scroll is good against things like Roaring Moon, which we didn't see in this video, obviously, but that makes sense to me. Choice Belt makes sense. Bumps up the numbers the way we want it to. Defiance Band makes sense to me as well if we play from behind. Maybe I'd want a third Artisan because the setup is so important. But yeah, I think this is a cool deck. It looks like a very fun deck to play. I would try it out if I was you guys. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching as always. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Peace out.